Hey everyone, Tony Winston here of Jazz Piano College, working again on My Funny Valentine out of the Jamie Aebersold book, and I'm going to do closed block voicings. All right, now all we do here is we take the melody in octaves, and usually with the right hand, we add most of the rest of the chord. So it's going to be something like this. Take the melody in octaves, fill in the rest of the chord, and it's something like this. And this is, usually better for like a trio setting when you have a bass player. You can use it, in short little sections if you're playing solo, or if you can grab some bass notes occasionally, then it works pretty well. So I'll put those bass notes in just so you can hear the sound better. Now A flat. Let's see, what am I going to do here? Okay, so before I get into this too far, let me go over a few of the basics. When you have a major chord, like C major, and you're working through the scale, your melody is someplace along the scale, generally the chord tones are the C6 chord, and then in between you use a diminished chord. And it's always going to be the same diminished chord. There's that one, and then C6, and then here's the same diminished chord. We usually add this note right here just to get that diminished chord, and then that's it. And by the way, I hear that saying all the time, by the way, it works, well for minor. The exact same one will work for A minor. See, there you are, just think about A minor now. Right? And, minor scales sometimes have that F sharp in there, but at least most of it works. And a lot of times, you do these little chromatic things with your left hand in there if you want to. Now, another kind of chord, very useful, is the minor 6 chord. And it really works about the same way. You just take the minor 6 and then diminished chord, same as before, minor 6, diminished, minor 6, stick that extra note in for the diminished, and minor 6, diminished there. And by the way, that also works for A minor 7 flat 5. So A minor 7 flat 5, like that. And of course, all this stuff can be translated into drop 2. Okay, so with those two principles in mind, let's set off in our journey with block chords. So we've got C minor, and I'm gonna play it real simple at first, and then do the diminished chord. And for this next chord, you could do like C minor major 7th, which is what it is, or you could just use the diminished chord there, because bass players often play a G here. Okay, now I C minor 7th, so I'll play it a little richer now. Diminished, up to the same chord, and here's A half diminished. Ooh. All right, well, I think this is what I'm going to do. All right, now for those of you who know the rootless voicings and the box voicing, that could be considered A minor 7 flat 5 as well as this. So I'm kind of using that. And I've got most of the notes, the root, the 7th, the flat 5. I don't have the 3rd in there anywhere, but all right, on to A flat major 7th. And you see, it sounds just like C minor, so that's why I say you kind of need a bass player, but if you put that in, now it sounds like A flat. And, in the A flat major scale, it doesn't have a D, so what are we going to do for that next note? One thing you can do, if you're going up to A flat here, you have to think ahead to this chord and then just do this for your middle note there. Chromatically slide into it, right? All right, kind of looks like F minor 7th, so E minor 7th to F minor 7th. We're still talking about A flat major 7th here. And now F minor, You could probably do it without the third, but let's keep that third in there. And then, you know, if you were going to stay on F minor, you could use that diminished chord. Maybe you can use it anyway. Let's see. I think it sounds all right. What else could we do there? You know, sometimes you can just leave the middle stuff the same and move the melody. I think I like that better, actually, in this case. A measure of G7 where there's nothing to do. So let me show you kind of a George Shearing trick. Let's think about G7 like this, with a flat 9, okay? Now here's another rootless voicing for G, if you take the root out. And you can move this up in minor thirds like this. So I could do something like, to get back to C. And now we're on C minor, and diminished. Stay on the diminished, I think, is good. And see, I kept everything the same in the middle. You could also think like an F 7th chord, because think about A minor 7 flat 5. It's kind of like an F9, so that works. A flat. See, that's of A flat. That's the 5th and the 6th, and you know, we usually put that diminished chord in the middle, like that. But we don't really have that note. We're just going from A flat to A flat. And you know, that's usually where the diminished is. So I guess you could do the diminished. I don't know. Will it work? It kind of does, but I think in this case I would probably just stay on A flat like this. And then I think, you know, a lot of times those little passing notes will work nice with a diminished chord. Okay, and then see, that's that George Shearing trick again. All right, this time it's on B flat. You know, and here we go, E flat major 7th. Just keep changing it to F minor. Use a little diminished there. Now G7. Do that. You know, it's pretty close to that diminished chord, so I think I'll do it that way. And then C minor. Yeah, the diminished right there, right? And then A flat major. Now, you know, if you follow this system and don't put the bass note in or don't have a bass player, it just sounds like C minor there, so get the A flat in there somehow. And there's, you know, all kinds of ways you could play that D minor to G7 change. Same as before. All right, so C minor, F 7th could be like that. And then B flat minor. You know, you could keep the E flat on top, play something like that maybe. And there's the George Shearing trick again. See? You can run it all the way down to that A flat there. And you know, Nobody says you have to play the whole song with the same technique. So you can do an open voicing there or something. Okay, if you're just getting started off, and you're thinking you'd like to do the drop 2 style or the block chord style, this would be a good song to practice because it's not too fast. It's not too challenging, but almost every time you try to do this style, you'll run into a little place where the typical techniques don't work. With this kind of thing just doesn't work for some reason. The melody is going to a chord that you're not expecting or something. So you always have to solve the little problems. And how do you solve the problems? You just try things out, and whatever sounds best, that's the way to do it. All right. Hope that was a helpful video for you all, and I will see you again real soon. Thanks so much.